Hello, and welcome back to our channel. Have you ever looked at your spouse and thought, well, we've been married for a minute, but you're so different. You're not the person who I married. What happened along the way? How did you change and how did I miss it? Today, we want to talk about a challenge or a season we've gone through where we both changed a lot. And during the season, we didn't realize the changes, but afterwards we saw some changes and we had to find a ways to adapt and get to know each other again. And we hope that you can relate with this. So tune in and enjoy the discussion.
In Ephesians 4 verse 2, it reads, "Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace." So we've been married for 5 years now, and during that time we've changed a lot. There have been periods where we have felt like we didn't even know each other, and we're not on the same wavelength in terms of where we're thinking and how we view life in general. If you have experienced the same thing, I hope this video can really help you to see that you're not alone in this and how we dealt with this situation.
One of the biggest changes in our marriage came when we got pregnant and we had kids. During this time, there were a lot of changes. Now, I'm going to give my perspective as this is going on, and then Isaiah will share his. When we first got married back in 2020, we went from we know each other and then boom, we lived together. That's a whole new change. So that first year, you're just, who are you? Who am I? Who are we? And how does this work? And then about 9 months in, we got pregnant with our first child. And that was different. I'm dealing with a different me that I've never had before. A pregnant me, where my body is just very different. Even little things, I can't remember things. I can't pull my thoughts together, and I'm just exhausted all the time. So my body is very different. And then throughout the pregnancy, things are changing, getting ready for this baby, and the baby comes in. Now, boom, I'm dealing with, there's a new human in this house. Now our house is completely different. We've never been three in this house. Now it's dealing with a mom me who I've never been before with a baby out. I've been a mom me with a baby in. I've kind of tried to get a handle on that. And then now there's a baby out and he's looking after this new human, looking after the house, being a good wife, being a good child and to my parents, my family, being a good sister. And it's like, who is this person? And how do I juggle all of this? So there's so many different changes. Fast forward to in the middle of that, I finally get a more stable job when our daughter is 7 months. Now I'm a working person with a child and I'm trying to handle all of this. Then the next year, I'm a working mother with a child and pregnant with the next kid. And all these different versions of me are all different. I've never been this person before. And as much as it's probably a surprise to Isaiah, it's a surprise to me too. I don't know who I am, and I am trying to get a handle on who this is. And to fast forward to the present me now, I'm a mom of toddlers, a teenager, and a terrific two. And this version of me is probably the most stable because my hormones are leveled out and the kids are older, and this is a different me. And so I have to reschedule my priorities, and life is a little bit more sensible at the moment. So through these stages, we definitely had hiccups because there'd be times when I have expectations. They say pregnancy, you just crave random things. And with my pregnancy, I just didn't want a lot of things, and I didn't really like physical touch as much. And my body is just so different. So I'm not drawn to, oh, let's cuddle and let's be intimate or anything. I just want my space. I'm just trying to somehow sleep through the night. And every moment I know that something is different about my body.
During all those years that Shari was changing with the pregnancy, it was very interesting for me because I could not see these changes. She would change hormonally, she would change in her body, but for me, I didn't really feel what she felt. And the problem was, I kept thinking she was the same throughout each situation. And that caused problems for us because I wasn't, in a sense, leveling up with her, and I wasn't changing with her. And we had a few bumps where we just didn't really understand each other, maybe with intimacy, maybe with even just how we think about children and just where our minds are at with that, because we have spoken at different times about children and what we want to do with our child. But when you're pregnant and you talk about a child, it's different than when you actually have the child and you talk about a child. And then when you have two children and you talk about children, it's all different stages. And during these stages, I struggled to level up with Shari. We would mainly realize this in situations where we are trying to make a decision and I say, let's do this, and then Shari just doesn't respond in the usual way, or is despondent, and I look at her and I'm like, what's going on? What's up now? And then we realize, actually, no, we don't have the same wavelength on this. We're not thinking the same way, and we have to talk through it. I love what the scripture says at the beginning, be completely humble. What is humility? Humility is considering others above yourself, and it's trying to get to a place where you want to think about the other person first before you think about the feelings you're going through. I had a lot of feelings during these periods, and lots of times where I felt down with maybe the response I got from Shari, or maybe just how I felt about where our relationship was going. But the thing is that humility is putting that aside and saying, let me try and look into Shari's shoes and try and think about what she's feeling. Maybe she's responding in this way, but what is she going through right now? What is she going through that's making her respond like this? And I had my own changes during this time. So for me, I was first time being a dad as well. First time trying to help a pregnant wife. First time having two children. I had changes in all these periods. I think mainly for me, it was, well, first of all, just trying to even know how to be a father and know how to be best support to my wife. I know at the beginning I wasn't the best support I could be to Shari when we had our first child, and learning from that experience, I really wanted to be different with our second child. But when I'm not like how I'm meant to be with the first child, it can cause Shari to have feelings and to feel a certain way, and also for us to not be in the same wavelength, because she has certain expectations of me to help out and to be around, and I wasn't there.
I think one of our biggest elephants in the room was the fourth trimester, the first time. So the fourth trimester is when the baby's out as a newborn, because the baby's new, but also as the mom, you're healing. And for us, that was quite a challenging one, because for a long time, we couldn't be intimate because I was healing. And it's navigating that, because never once did we discuss, the baby's here and I need time to heal, and what are we going to do about that? And unfortunately for our first child, it took me a really long time. So it's almost like before we got married, we know we're being pure and we're being celibate, waiting for the time when we're married so we can be intimate with each other. And now, in the middle of, you've already been intimate, you know what to expect and everything, a baby comes in, and now that cannot happen. And for me, I know that it was different because I'm hormonal, I'm feeding the baby. My mind is all about the baby. No, I'm not thinking about intimacy at all. It's not on my mind. On top of the fact that my body is not healed. So I am almost repulsed by the idea of intimacy. I'm kind of running away from it. So when that topic comes up, I am almost recoiling away, because I'm like, my body is not ready, my mind is not ready, I'm not even looking forward to this. And so we had to really have so many conversations about this, because I was thinking, he doesn't care that I'm hurting. And he can share what he was thinking, but I would just think, well, where is the being gentle with me? Where is that? Where is the bearing with me in this? Because every day I'm in pain and I'm feeling this kind of way, and I can only wonder what he thinks when he looks at me.
That was a pretty big situation, because as well, Shari doesn't really like physical touch. Physical touch is not one of her favorite things. And for me, it's just massive. And during this time, Shari would get so much physical touch from the baby that it's almost like the baby sapped all her physical touch meter and everything that she would be able to give to me prior to the baby. And so for me, on my side, it would feel like, oh, she doesn't love me anymore. As crazy as that. And it's like, it's just a simple lack of physical touch. But for me, it would come through as a lack of love. And the thing is that we didn't talk about what Shari said, and I didn't understand Shari, and even just try and see that, hey, it's hard to tell that she's still in pain, and to still see that, hey, no, she's just had a big pregnancy. She's not just going to be different in 2 seconds. And so working through that was quite interesting. We'd love to say that we did it amazingly and we planned everything, and no, we didn't. I ended up in just moments of where both of us are kind of mad at each other, and we're just, when you're frustrated and sleeping on 2 sides of the bed, and then we're just like, no, we need to figure this out. This cannot go on. It's that bearing with one another in love. Bearing with one another shows that it's not just a one-time thing, it's a continual bearing. I'm bearing with you. I know you're changing, I'm gonna bear with you. And the way we did it was that when we get into those moments where we're truly frustrated, we just decided that we're gonna talk. How are you feeling right now? And how are you feeling right now? And then we talk it out, we hear how each other are feeling, and then we start to realize, oh, you're in a different place. You're not the same Shari that was here 3 months ago. And I need to learn this new Shari. I need to know how this Shari is. And the thing is, Shari's been pregnant twice. So when she was pregnant again, it was actually helpful because I knew the previous pregnant Shari. So I'm like, I've dealt with pregnant Shari before. But it's when it's new situations, when it's a Shari with 1 child, it's a Shari with 2 children, it's a Shari, because the thing is, we're mainly giving you examples from our pregnancy because it was pretty big for us, pretty big changes, and probably the biggest changes that has happened for us. But for you guys, there can be others that can happen. Maybe you've had a bereavement, maybe you've had even just change in house, or just even the fact that you're just growing older. Just, we change as we age. And also, even just, we have new things that we love to do. What we're talking about here is having a mindset that my spouse can change at any time.
Is changing every moment.
Exactly.
Absolutely, yes.
And because of that, I cannot make decisions based off the spouse of yesterday. I need to understand the spouse of today and make decisions from that. And how do you do that? How do we understand each other and make sure we keep up with each other in that? We've not been perfect, but we can share with you some ways in which we've done that.
And I think even a small mini example on top of the whole story we've given is currently my husband, he's preparing for the marathon and he's eating healthier. And in the past, the foods that I would make, or example, next year with his birthday and everything, I can't just come home and buy him a bunch of pizzas. He's very specific in what he's eating. So even taking account of those changes, I have to think, he doesn't think the way he was thinking before. He's doing a whole new method. So I need to adjust to that, to be like, oh, this is the new him. And this is how I can account for that. Because if I don't, and I plan a whole extravagant Costco pizza party, he's going to be like, I can only have 1 bite of this. And then probably discourage more than encourage. So it's like, how do I cater to who he is now? And in a month's time, what's going to be different? And how can I adjust to that?
So talking is big.
Yes.
Talking to one another is big, and you don't have to make it extravagant. It doesn't have to be a 5-star hotel or a 5-star Michelin restaurant. It doesn't have to be that, but it does have to be intentional. Intentionality tends to waver as you grow older in your relationship. I don't know how to say it. You age in your relationship. Intentionality is probably one of the big things that wavers.
I think because you tend to assume you've been like this, you're staying like this. So I don't need to be intentional, I can just guess.
Yes, exactly. And assumption is dangerous. Assumption can get you in trouble with each other. And also, the thing is, if you don't realize that you're in assumption mode, it can be very dangerous for your relationship because you don't realize that you both don't know each other. And you need to know each other to be able to really be the best for one another. We've talked about in the past meeting each other's needs. How can you meet the need of your spouse of yesterday? You need to meet the need of your spouse of today. So we have had periods where we've been really good with talking with one another, periods where we've not been very good with talking with one another. I think what we found is that just making the most of every opportunity we have. We have 2 children now. In a sense, life is very busy, and it can feel like, oh, we have no time for each other. But there are moments where we can just play a game together and then simply just, hey, how's your day been? And one thing that we started to do recently was try and call each other during our lunch breaks, because we never really did that during the first part of our marriage. But you talk about, hey, how are you doing? How's it going today? Because the thing is, even during the day, changes happen. When you come back home from work, you're like, hey, honey, how you doing? You all right? And then she's like, and it's not been a great day. And then
he walks in and I'm like, babe, welcome home. And he's like, the kid's going to sleep. We're happy to see you.
Exactly. And if you don't know what your spouse has gone through during the day, then you won't really figure out why they're reacting like this. And sometimes it can be personal. You can feel like, hey, what have I done to you? Hey, can I get a nice response when I see you? What's going on? But it's not you. It's the situation. It's the day they've been through that is causing them to have this kind of reaction.
Communication is key. As cliche as that is, and however many times you've heard it, it is true. And it's just asking for your spouse's perspective. I want to know what he thinks, how he sees things, and that helps me. Because even though, for example, in our previous example about intimacy, I understood for him things are the same, he still has the same sex drive and everything. But then I'm like, so how do we meet in the middle? Because this is, now I explain my point of view, and it's like, but this is where I'm at. So how do we meet in the middle? Because before we were just on our ends thinking that one should come over to my end, and that doesn't work. But when we talk about it and I'm like, oh, this is how you feel. Wow, you actually very discouraged when I'm not drawn to you at all. And I'm thinking, oh, I just want that consideration of not having the conversation all the time about let's do this intimate act, which I'm kind of afraid of at the moment. So just talking and hearing, that's your perspective, this is my perspective. How do we equalize this? Communication is key, and how you communicate is also really important. Make sure that you actually hear each other, and you don't listen to respond, but you listen to understand. So then you actually get somewhere and you move on. Because the last thing I'll say is, my husband during my second pregnancy was very different, because now he understood his role during the pregnancy, and even little things like he would take our daughter and deal with her and give me some time to rest and things like that, where you could just consider, let me give her some time to rest. And it wasn't even every single moment, every single time, but it was those moments when he did that I knew that he was thinking of me and he was being kind and gentle and considerate of me.
And this topic is quite broad. I think this is the beginning of us talking about this, and we want to hear from you. We want to hear, what else do you want us to talk about within this topic, or even what other topics do you want us to talk about? Please comment down below. And we love seeing your comments. We love replying to comments, and we read every comment. So please don't feel afraid to comment, and please comment, because I know I tend to watch videos and I most of the time don't comment. But please do, because really just help us just really figure out what the people who are watching us need, because we really want to cater our videos to you.
Also, like and subscribe so you can help the precious algorithm to send our videos out. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.